Hey everyone, it's Myriam and welcome back to another video, and for this week I have yet another sketchbook tour. I mentioned this video in my previous sketchbook tour a couple weeks ago, and so as promised, here's my Moleskine Watercolour sketchbook tour. This sketchbook, it might look like it took me 3 years to finish, but I mean it did. Technically, it did. But the thing is, most of the sketches in here are probably from 2017, and a few of them are from years before, but I didn't use it for a long time and then kind of started using it a lot more the last few months of its life. So I'm not sure I really like this sketchbook. The paper isn't actually that great, but it's a good little sketchbook for studies, which is what I mainly used it for. So let's jump straight into it. I'm going to skip the first page because it's got my phone number and address on it. But here we go. So this paper, I think, I don't know, is it 300? I don't know if it's 300. It doesn't say much about it. Let's see. Watercolor album, 200 GSM watercolor paper, 72 pages, cold press. Yeah, so that seems about right. So 200 GSM paper. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit just so you can see the drawings a bit better. Here you go, is that? Yes. So this first one was a little study for, it was in what? That's not 2005, that's not right, that's 2015. And it was from a portrait, from a photograph of one of my friends' first child called Emma. And I wanted to make them a proper painting, which I did in the end. And this was a little study for that. And I think she was so cute. In watercolour. A lot of the first few pieces in this sketchbook will be watercolour, because I didn't actually get gouache until 2016, I think. This is actually... I'm talking before I actually look at what I'm doing. But this was in 2016, September 2016, so quite a big jump. I don't know why I ignored this first page for a long time, but there was nothing on it, so I went back to it later on to put a painting on it. And this is a very quick, very quick gouache sketch when I was having a walk in my local kind of nature reserve, and I really loved that little area, and it had a beautiful sunset, so I just quickly sat down to paint it. But it was very hard, and it was right at the beginning of me trying to learn gouache, so it was very tough for me to capture something as fleeting as a sunset when I had no experience of the medium. This was back when I was home, and we're going back to 2015. So this was 2016, end of 2016, and this end of 2015. And that was a painting from a view from home, where I live in France. And it was a really hazy, misty valley with like the sun kind of setting in the distance. And I was trying to be a bit looser with this one. It's watercolor. Another one, I zoomed you in a bit too early there. Another one of my home, and this was the other side of the sketchbook, the sketch that you saw previously. So this was when you turned around, you had this. Although I did this one a bit earlier, so the sun wasn't setting. And it's the mountain range, one of the mountain ranges, because I live in a bowl, so there's mountains all around. And this was one of the mountain ranges that you could see. I climbed this one when I was a kid with my dad. It was great. And watercolor. And I wasn't at the time. I had not drawn many landscapes, painted many landscapes, so I was very inexperienced. So I was quite happy with it. It gives a good vibe of what it was like. And then back the right way around. Here we go. It's going to be a bit tricky, but this was a preliminary sketch for this painting, which was one of my first very big for me. It was A1 paintings. Oh, A2. I'm talking nonsense. It was an A2 painting, and it was one of my decisive paintings where I was like, I actually want to do this a lot more, and I actually want to become a better painter and maybe explore it as a job. And I think that was back in the end of 2015. So that was a little sketch for that. And then this guy, oh no, I haven't painted it. I hadn't started my YouTube channel at the time, but this guy is called Aminu, and he's from a book I really like to paint from, and it's called James and Other Apes by James Mollison. And it's a wonderful book of portraits of apes, and like this one. And this one was in watercolor, and I have another one. Oh no, I don't have the gouache one in this one. But this was the watercolor painting, and let me show you the one I did in gouache of it. So I have this Arches sketchbook, and the paper is so much nicer. But I don't think it's Aminu, it's a different ape. But this one was in watercolor, and this one is in gouache. And I really like the difference. I thought it was really interesting to see the difference. But anyway, we're not doing a tour of this one. There's only one sketch in it anyway. So yeah, this was a watercolor sketch I was really happy with, and I might do some more because I miss doing it. I used gouache for the white, I think. A crow, because why not? There we go. In watercolor, I believe, and that was in March of 2016. A nude study of a pose that really bewildered me at the time. I should try and do watercolor nude studies again. It's quite fun. A close-up skin study. I don't like it, to be honest. I think I didn't know enough about painting when I did this. But I think at the time, for what I did at the time, I was really happy with it, which is fair enough. Right now, I know that I could probably do some things differently, so I might try and redo it, just to see how much I've changed. It's always interesting to do paint-agains. This was a really quick watercolour from a flower in a botanical garden when I was working in Romania, so in 2016 in Bucharest. I really liked that job. It was a stressful job, but being in Bucharest was really cool. Another one from the same botanical gardens that I never finished. So those flowers have like really nice veiny textures, and I wanted to paint, but I got told off for sitting down and painting, so I never got to finish it. This is the view from that botanical garden. There was a like abandoned factory in the distance. Not in the distance actually, just across the road. And it just looked so strange. It gave things such a strange atmosphere. And again, I wasn't very experienced with painting landscapes, so there's a lot of things that I did wrong in this, but I wanted it to capture kind of the vibe that those towers gave in the background of this beautiful botanical garden. So yeah, here we go. And then here we go. This is my first ever gouache painting. So July 2016, I got a gouache set for the first time for my birthday in May of 2016, and then attempted this painting to get to know gouache. And as you can see, I'm using it a lot like I use watercolor. Apart from the background, which I was was attempting to do opaque technique with, I you know, it's a bit kind of experimental because I had never used gouache, never researched gouache. I was just trying things out, so that was interesting. And then nothing, because here we go. Because I had another attempt at gouache here, and that was a little bit later in the July of 2016. I had a friend visit, and we took a tiny road trip down to the south of England to see the sea and go swimming and just have a bit of a break, because I really needed it. And it's beautiful, beautiful little beach with these magnificent rock formation here, and this kind of tunnel that led into the sea here, and we swam through there and just had a bit of a relaxing time down there, and it was amazing. I was really happy to do that with her. I really needed it. Needed a nature break. And then we get into the meat of the sketchbook, where I started doing a bunch more. Let me zoom you in a little bit. Where I started doing a bunch more landscape studies. This was my first one in gouache. I think there's only gouache from here on then. And then all those, I think most of the sketchbooks, of the sketches from here on out, you might have seen as a video, because they're all in groups of 3 or 4 are parts of their own videos. So that was one of them. And then another one with some light play. So these are all September 2016. First few attempts at... They're all from reference, they're from photo reference, they're not from life. I want to try and paint outdoors a bit more. I think it's always better to paint from life, but I live in London, so my chances of fantastical landscapes are a bit limited. But when I go home in a couple of weeks, actually I probably will have been home by the time this video goes up, and will have tried painting outdoors. I need to make myself a little setup. Another painting from the same session, and I think that, oh no, that was a later session. Life stumps. And then another attempt at painting a nape. I don't think I did as good a job on this one as I did on the previous one, but I think it was a much quicker one. I think I really wanted to upload a video, and so I painted this for the video that day, which I won't catch myself doing ever again. Now I have loads of stock footage for videos, that way I don't have to stress about it on the day. But that was at the beginning of my YouTube channel, so that was an attempt at doing it on the same day. And then this one I uploaded not too long ago, I think. Like a month ago, last month. But I painted it in June of 2017. Same for this one. No, that July 2017 for this one. I really like the colours on the reference video for that one. Obviously, a lot of people commented on the colours, and they're very complimentary, so it makes it very appealing. Another little lonely house, which I think is the name of the landscape video I did for those. Another one. And then I think this one was the most recent trio of landscapes I did on my channel last month or something. This one is one that I repainted a bit later on in the sketchbook because I wasn't very happy with it. So I tried painting it again, and you can see the two of them together in the video with those landscapes in it. And I think it's called like Empty Paths in Gouache or something. And then these are little studies of light and how light works and how to translate it in gouache. I have an entire video for this drawing and the next couple where I experiment with light and gouache. Yeah, so these are all part of the same video. And this is the other one that I was saying I'd repainted. So this one I repainted into this one. And you can see the video and the two of them together somewhere on my channel. And then the last few paintings in this sketchbook are my gem studies, which I uploaded not too long ago, but probably less than a month ago. Sorry, the light from my window is coming in and it's red. And yeah, I think this is it for this sketchbook. And I haven't actually filled this one to the brim because I didn't feel like it. I was happy to have finished it. And so I was just content with it being what it was. And I now want to move on. So like I showed you a bit earlier, now my next one for studies will probably be my Moleskine Sketchbook, which has a much nicer paper because it's Arches watercolour paper. And it's gorgeous to work in. So I'll probably be using that next for painting. But anyway, that's it for this little sketchbook tour. This was my Moleskine watercolour sketchbook. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, it is available as an entire high-res PDF on my Patreon page if you guys are interested in seeing all the paintings up close. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this sketchbook. Let me know if you guys have ever used a Moleskine watercolor sketchbook and what you guys think of it. I'm not a massive fan. It's a bit too expensive for the quality of the paper, I thought. I think it's about the same price as my Arches sketchbook, ironically, and that was a bit strange to me because the paper is very different in quality. But it's perfect for studies because it means I'm not too scared of ruining it, whereas my Arches sketchbook, I'm really scared of painting it. So this was good for me to study, attempt, try, fail, and I really enjoyed that. So I might get... no, I won't get another one. That settles the matter. I probably won't. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. And I hope you're all well. Take really good care of yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Bye everyone.